You are listening to The Last Hand, Book 8 of the Nadia Wolf Series, written by Nicolette Pierce. Copyright 2018. Audio copyright 2025 by Pierced Heart Publishing. Digitally narrated with full cast of voices. Chapter 19. On April 3rd, I walked around the baby's room, making sure everything was in place. Did I need anything else? Frankie and Mark had decorated the room in pale yellows and greens. Quilted safari animals adorned the room. Crib, changing table, and dresser were in place and not falling over. Caleb's cabinetry-skilled family helped with that. Tiny clothes were in the drawers. Little grooming and first aid kits were in the changing table, along with a snot sucker, a stack of cloth diapers, and wipes. Technically, we still didn't know the sex of the baby. We wanted it to be a surprise, even though I was fairly sure it was a girl. A colossal wager was riding on the outcome. Caleb walked into the room and wrapped his arms around me, holding me from behind since my now giant belly was in the way. "Do you think we have everything we need?" I asked.
How much more could we possibly get? It's just a tiny baby.
It was amazing how much a tiny human needed. "Do we have enough cloth diapers?" I asked, rethinking our choice to go green. Maya had talked me into it.
Yes, and we have the emergency pack of disposables just in case.
"The baby is going to arrive any moment. We have to be ready."
We are.
He said, steering me to the door.
It's time to go to the wedding. Frankie and Mark will kill us if we're late. They even wrote it in the invitation.
Okay. I turned off the light as we walked to the car.
You look beautiful in that little black dress.
Little? There was nothing little about it. Maya had loaned it to me. She was now back in her pre-pregnancy clothes, while I was in her balloon clothes. We made it to the chapel in plenty of time. Maya waved us over to where they were sitting. They looked like a picture book family. David and Maya sat together, holding a chubby, adorable little girl who cooed and blew raspberries as she played with her toes. They were all happy and content, looking as if this were natural. I envied their calm. I sat next to Maya and wiggled Juliana's toes. She giggled, drool flying everywhere.
"How are you feeling?"
Good for the most part. The nausea had long disappeared. Now there was just the swelling in my feet, ankles, and boobs. Caleb thought the latter was great fun. I, on the other hand, had to buy a bunch of new bras that would fit and had the flap in front for easy access. Caleb thought that was great fun too. The music played, and Frankie and Mark came out arm in arm. Mark wore an all-white tux with long tails. Frankie wore a black tux with no tail. They looked good together. I had been sure one of them would wear a dress since they had met at a drag queen lounge. The baby kicked multiple times against my stomach as if wanting to get out. I didn't blame her. It was probably cramped and hot. Or maybe that's the way I was feeling. I listened to Mark as he said his vows. They were long and flowery. I doubted Frankie's would be the same. Would they argue about that? It was hard to say with them. The baby kicked again, and this time it hurt. I winced, putting a hand on the side of my stomach.
Are you okay?
Caleb whispered. I nodded, thinking it was just a boisterous jab, but the pain spread, muscles clenched, and then it happened. My water broke. His eyes widened.
Let's go to the hospital.
I put my hand on him to keep him in his seat and shook my head. The wedding is almost over. Just wait a moment. From what I remembered, you weren't supposed to go in too early anyway. Plus, I didn't want to be the one to interrupt Mark's long-winded vows. He'd hold that over my head until one of us was dead, maybe even longer than that.
Are you sure?
I nodded, feeling a bit of the pain go away. Once Mark finished, Frankie read his vows, which were much shorter and to the point. I silently thanked him as my muscles contracted again, more painfully and pronounced. Grabbing Caleb's hand, I squeezed it hard so I wouldn't yell. He winced but took it. I really didn't want to hurt him, but the bastard had gotten me pregnant. If I was going to suffer, he was going down with me. The pain subsided, and I let out a breath of relief. So did he. I'm sorry.
We should go.
He rubbed his hand. Hold on. Frankie and Mark were announced as husbands. It would only be a short time and we could escape. As soon as they walked back down the aisle, I stood and filed out with the rest of the guests to the lobby for the reception. It was crowded, but Caleb and I were able to find a path out the door.
Where are you going?
Maya called as she followed us. It was then that I had another burst of pain. I clung to Caleb, feeling as though the baby was trying to push out through my belly button.
Oh my goodness, you're in labor.
I nodded.
Go to the hospital. We'll meet you later with your bag.
Caleb swooped me off to the hospital. I vowed never to have another child as the pain intensified.
We'll be there soon.
Caleb said, trying to reassure me, but I was past listening. The baby had turned into a sumo wrestler and was trying to ram its way out. 10 hours and 5,000 curses later, the baby was born. Caleb, who looked as if he were about to cry or pass out, stared at the baby in the doctor's arms.
It's a boy.
The crying bundle was taken for a few moments and then brought back to me. The nurse laid him in my arms. I looked at the wrinkly red baby and smiled. You tricked me, I said, so unbelievably happy with the little guy. I thought you were going to be a girl. He was amazing, and now that I saw him, I knew he'd be the perfect kid for me.
He's a boy.
Caleb said again, reaching over to touch his tiny fingers. Caleb's smile grew.
I feel like I won twice.
What do you mean?
He's a miracle, and I won the wager.
I was too happy with my little bundle to care much about the wager, but Caleb did win. Okay, you did win in more ways than one, I admitted. But let's enjoy him before you try to knock me up again. Caleb grinned and leaned over to kiss my forehead.
2 more babies.
That was the wager. And even though labor had sucked, having the little bug in my arms made it all worth it. He was an angel, and I'm sure he wouldn't mind having a couple of siblings. I sure didn't mind seeing Caleb happy. He looked at the baby in awe. I'm not sure how I was so fortunate when my luck was normally dismal, but this moment made me feel like the luckiest girl in the world. This has been The Last Hand, written by Nicolette Pierce. Digitally narrated with full cast of voices. Copyright 2018 by Nicolette Pierce. Production copyright 2025 by Pierced Heart Publishing.